G'day, my name's Bron Harrison, or Harrison the Artist. I'm a recording artist, drummer, percussionist, songwriter, business owner, entrepreneur, producer, as well as a sister, daughter, auntie, partner, boss and friend. Like many creatives, I have many strings to my bow. In truth, I find it slightly limiting to think that I only have one creative process or practice. With all respect, I have many, and they can't be limited or grouped in any fashion except that they are innately creative. Let me explain why. I don't have one creative practice or process to analyse for refinement. It would be closer to my postmodern personality to say that I have 5 creative processes or practices that all differ in their approach and method. My creative practices involve 1. Songwriting, 2. Electronic music production, 3. Sonic branding, 4. Video production, and 5. Business. Due to time constraints, we will look at one of my creative processes, sonic branding. I decided to focus on my sonic branding process for critical reflection as opposed to my songwriting process, which could be considered a little genius in nature or a repair project, as Taylor and Littleton put it in their writings of Contemporary Identities of Creativity and Creative Work. Taylor and Littleton discuss the onus to be good enough to be the source of creative work opens an alternative project for creative workers to repair the self and make good deficits, which may go on to explain my song Good Enough and why I embarked in the creative industries in the first place. One could say the idea generation phase of my songwriting is of some sort of divine intervention, completely out of my control, similarly to the poet Ruth Stone's creative process, where the idea hits her in the most involuntary fashion and at unprepared times. Stone explains her creative process as needing to catch the idea before it leaves her in search of another poet. Sonic branding, however, embodies a far more structured approach, an approach which is far more procedural, clinical, and even business-like. An approach that allows me to critically examine the process and how to improve it. Here's a little video which explains what sonic branding is, as well as the process I have created. We design your sound so clients can hear your brand. What is sound? All sound is frequency, waves of acoustic energy floating through the air. Humans can hear sounds at frequencies from about 20 Hz up to 20,000 Hz. Most of the time, we don't pay attention to sound. It affects us subconsciously. It helps us navigate, communicate, understand, enjoy, and feel emotion. Sound is a very powerful thing, something that can have a profound impact on one's mood, their feelings, their perception of images, senses, and situations. And when a multitude of sounds are combined into one or more complex counterparts, music, psychological effects can be drastically amplified. Why does music affect us? The eminent and articulate neurologist Dr. Oliver Sacks spent most of his life's work exploring the relationship of music and the brain. In his book, Musicophilia, Sacks discusses at great length not only the relationship of music and emotion, but also of music and cognition. He notes that music contains power. Science has linked several areas of the brain to the creation and storage of emotional and interpretation responses to music. These cerebral constructs interact to produce emotional responses to music. It is yet unknown as to why and how they do so, but it is known that they interact so similarly in dissimilar people that different people identify with the same pieces of music with the same emotion. Why is sound important? Of all the sensory inputs, we respond quickest to sound. Much quicker than touch or vision, music is one of the most useful components used in sonic strategy. It's the sense that reaches the brain first and functions as an organiser for the rest of our senses. Whether we realise it or not, sound directs our choices every day. Louder amplitude, for example, makes people move faster, whereas quieter music makes people stay longer with you. Low-tempo music makes people spend more money, whereas high-tempo music increases mood and temperament. How does sound affect us? Physiologically, sound can direct and affect our cortisol, fight or flight hormone, affecting our hormone secretions. Sound affects your breathing, your heart rate, and your brainwaves. Waves lapping at the shore of a beach roughly have the frequency of about 12 times per minute. No surprise that this is the same rate as a soothing, average breath of a sleeping person. Psychologically, music is the most powerful form of sound that we know to affect our emotional state. Cognitively, Humans have a surprisingly small bandwidth to process auditory input. We cannot listen to two or more vocal sound sources effectively, which is why the importance of ambient sound and sound that creates feeling is very important. And behaviourally, studies have shown that music can influence sales and customer decisions. As a consumer yourself, you've most likely interacted with several forms of sensory marketing without even knowing it. After all, 95% of our business decisions are made subconsciously. Fast music makes you drive faster. Research indicates that music has significant impact on the brain and consumer behaviour. Music mainly activates areas of the brain associated with feelings, motivation, planning and reward. So what's the process? Well, your sonic creation can be split into three core parts: pre-production, production and post-production. The first step within pre-production involves a sonic brand proposal. This proposal not only takes you through the process itself, but it is accompanied with a sonic brand questionnaire. Here we find out a little bit about your business, your purpose, your current marketing activities, your target market, your dream client, your competitors, as well as the kind of sound that you want to create or the feeling that you want your customers and potential customers to be left with when they're in touch with your brand. Then we analyse this information, and with the reference tracks that you have provided us, we break down these sonic characteristics. Now music can be broken down into a number of ways. We analyse the pitch, the form, the timbre, the melody, the tempo, rhythm, harmony, texture, dynamics, so that we can formulate your very own sonic branding report. This comprehensive report not only diagnoses the sonic characteristics of your chosen references, but it also makes recommendations on an approach for your tailored and original sonic soundtrack. Once you receive your sonic brand report and recommendations, we have a discussion about the direction and genres and themes building from your report. From there, we can provide your sonic branding budget and production plan. The timeline and cost is very much determined by the nature and instrumentation of your song. If you want to record a 70-piece orchestra, your budget might be a little bit higher than a solo guitarist and a singer-songwriter. Not only that, whether you choose to utilise professional session musicians or go down the electronic music production route, or combine both, will largely determine time and costs. This brings me to the actual production of your soon-to-be musical asset. To record in a studio as well as incorporate electronic music production techniques involves many aspects such as sound harvesting, auditioning sounds, composition, production, studio recordings, mixing and editing, as well as any changes needed along the way. The process is fun but time-consuming, but our steadfast budget, timeline and plan means that we can stay on track to ensure that the creative process is managed in an effective way. Lastly, there is the post-production phase. This involves mastering your track, developing artwork and music distribution. We need your track to be ready for many platforms that exist today so that your song can be available on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Google Play, Apple Music, Amazon, Pandora, Tidal, Deezer, just to name a few. And there you have it. From pre-production to production to post-production, you will have your very own track to impress your clients and subconsciously tap into their perceptions and emotions. So do you want to make your clients sad, happy, reflective, nostalgic, excited, or generous? Sounds like a smart thing to do to me. Email us today for your proposal. So there you have it, an insight into the sonic brand process. The process itself very much reflects James Taylor's 5 stages of the creative process, but not all. Because human beings seem to like things in threes, I have broken the sonic branding process into 3 easily defined areas: pre-production, production, and post-production. The process, unlike my songwriting and other music production processes I employ where it is in the pursuit that counts, not the attainment, the process for sonic branding is incredibly convergent. I call upon already known ideas, concepts, preconditioned thoughts and ideas as opposed to looking outside the box for new, fresh concepts yet to enter my sphere of creativity. It is the combination of preconceived ideas to create something new that in itself is creative. To improve and refine this process, however, a more broader focus on the incubation stage would be wonderful. However, I believe this to be more of a luxury than a reality. After completing primary research for our first assignment and interviewing creative practitioner and textile extraordinaire Alana Gunn, I was encouraged by the lengths Alana would go to in the preparation stage. Alana would dedicate time to create playlists and mood boards for other designers to seek inspiration from. One way upon which I could improve my sonic branding process would be to create small playlists of songs for clients to listen to and comment on to ensure that creative direction is on point and that we are all on the same page. Hopefully this will enhance outcomes in that clients' expectations are captured early on in the process and subsequently met. Hopefully it will be easier to pinpoint their sonic ideas to begin with, to ensure the outcome is in a style that is fitting to their audience without compromising certain consumer behaviour outcomes in the process. Other ways to improve the process would be to tone up the time of day upon which I complete creative work. Or perhaps not so much the time of day, but rather more strict boundaries around allocated time to creative pursuits. Hemingway, Tesla, Mozart, Woody Allen, Maya Angelou, Van Gogh, and Steve King all had routines around their creativity. I believe this would not only improve my creative endeavours, but also my health and well-being. In Adam Grant's TED Talk, I loved learning more about precrastination to balance my own procrastination. As a business owner, I relate very much to Adam's talk, specifically around having a fear of failure to try. Our biggest regrets are the things that we don't do. His talk makes me realise how many ideas I have that I need to implement. I resonate with, to be original, you don't have to be first, you just have to be different and better. Having more time towards idea generation, I believe, will increase the value of outcomes in the sonic brand creative process. And finally, the amazing Csikszentmihalyi. In order for me to experience flow, I undoubtedly need to do two things. 1, continually increase my skill levels. And 2, work uninterrupted. Working uninterrupted and without distractions is one sure way to stay in a place of flow, that heavenly place where all the magic happens. This will increase my output, frequency of releasing creative work, and improve the quality of my work. Thank you.